If you are searching for a way to take your blues lead guitar playing to a higher level, but you just don't have time to learn theory, and you want to move past just playing the pentatonic scales, today I'm going to show you two patterns that you can use to play blues lead guitar in any key all up and down the fretboard. So grab your guitar and let's get into it. Now for this video, we're going to focus on 7th chords. So it sounds real close to your major chord. The difference is it has this note right there. This is an A dominant 7. So here's your root note, your A. Here's your root note, your A. We're going to drop this down 2 frets. And that makes it a 7th chord. We can also bring this note right here in for the 7th chord. Now we're going to be doing this for all 3 chords of every chord progression. So if we're in the key of A, then A is our 1, D would be our 4, and then E would be our 5. So in your A-shaped chords, you've got your root note here and here, and you're going to drop this down 2 frets. And now you've got your dominant 7th chord. So our first pattern, we're just going to call this our home base or our foundation for playing blues lead guitar. So it's going to be a minor pentatonic blues scale, but we're going to add 1 note, which is going to be the major 3rd, which I will explain. So let's stay in our A right here. And so our index finger is on the 5th fret, bottom E string, and we're going to play this scale. Now I'm sure you're familiar with that scale more than likely because it's just the blues scale. But there again, we are adding this major 3rd. Now the major 3rd is really not a note that you would play like just playing a scale. You would very seldom ever play it like that. But it is used in different ways, so think of this. There's also a major 3rd right there. So this is really important that you get that major 3rd in there because you got to have that major 3rd note in order to make the chord. So our focus is going to be in the key of A, but later on I'll show you how to move it into different keys. I want to talk to you about breaking out of this pentatonic box. Instead of just staying with this scale, what I want to do is add some extension notes. They're going to be the same notes within the scale. So on the bottom E string, we're going to start with this G, then we're going to go to the A. Then from the A string, we've got our C, and then we've got our C sharp, which is our major 3rd. There's our D right there, and then we've got our blues note. And now we're going to go to the next string. And now we've got our G string, major 3rd, blues note. Now we're going to go to this note here, and now we're going to jump to our B string, and we've got 8th fret, 10th fret. Then we've got our E string, 8th fret, 10th fret. Now from here we're going to go up 2 chromatic notes. So that altogether looks something like this so far. So we're going to add this note right here on the B string, and we've got licks that we can play something like this. So once again, it looks like this, played slow. So I'm going to play some licks and phrases over all three chords, the A7, the D7, and the E7, using just this extended pattern. Here's your A7, D7, back to your A7, E7, D7, A7. So what you'll notice is when we go to that D7 and the E7, I'm pretty much hitting like the root notes, and there's some stuff I can do right there with this pattern, but you really need more notes to cover that D7 and E7. Without going into the theory of all of it, you can just hear it. If I play this scale, it don't really fit too well until I hit that D note right there. So this second pattern we're going to look at is going to take in consideration these other chords. Now it's also going to add some cool stuff to the A7 chord as well. So now for the second pattern. This is going to be your A major pentatonic blues scale. So let's start with this A right here, or we could start with this A because we're going to do the extended version of it also. But let's just go ahead and start with this A, and then we're going to go up 2 frets, and then we've got our same pattern that we just played, only thing we're playing it right here instead of right there. So it's going to look like this. And again, we can start with this A note if we wanted to. The idea is to use, again, the extended patterns. We would just start right here on this E note. So I can play this A chord right here. Or I can play the D. And I can take this same pattern, and where I'm starting right here on the A, I can go up here and start on this D right here. Or this D. So starting from this bar chord or starting from this bar chord. So let's start here. Or start here. Do the same thing from the E, which is right here. And there's your chord right there. So again, you can still use your minor pentatonic blues scales even when you go to your D. So think of this D chord right here. I went straight from the major pentatonic to the minor pentatonic blues. I can do the same thing with the E7. So it's all about the notes for each chord. You can hear the notes for each chord. And again, it sounds just like a major chord, but it's got that 7th note in there. Right there, that just makes it really cool, really sweet. And it gives you the ability to change it up a little bit. So I can play this E7 and I can do major, or I can do minor. And it works either way. That's why this is so cool. You can move this around, obviously, to different keys. Say we were in our key of G. G7 would be your 1. C7 would be your 4. D7 would be your 5. And so if you were in the key of C, C's your 1, F's your 4, G's your 5. So wherever you're at, whatever chord you're playing over, you can always have that foundation of either that major pentatonic blues scale or the minor pentatonic blues scale. So if you're in this C right here, same concept. You can start with this C note here or this C note here, and this is your major. Same chord, minor. Go to your F. This is really some cool stuff once you get into it, and I hope that you take the time to really dive in and study this stuff and really just have fun with it. There's not a whole lot of study to it. It's just 2 patterns is all you really need to get down. The rest of it is just using your ear and just playing over the chords. And if you want to take all of this to a higher level, I've got a 23-page free PDF reference guide. And if you want a copy of it, then just put in the comments, free PDF, and I'll send it to you.